Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.
Colin McGuigan, IFLTV, delighted to be joined by Lawrence Okolie in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Lawrence, happy to be here this week?
Yeah, very much. You know, short trip from Dubai, had to come make an appearance.
Out of these 5 fights, what's your pick of the night?
To be the best fight. Well, the one with the most intrigue for me is Zhang versus Wilder. All the fights are good, but that one there, because, you know, obviously we've seen Wilder be a dominant force in the heavyweight division for a number of years. With Parker beating him, and, you know, we're starting to question, has he still got it? And if he does, he can win by stoppage. If not, Zhang's going to get mad there, so that's probably my favourite one.
Do you believe it is possibly the end of the road for the loser of that fight?
No, not with the current climate. Right now, it seems like all the heavyweights are fighting each other. They're all on rotation, and as we've seen, you know, one loses, you go in against the next person. It might make them less of a favourite, but they're still going. So I do rate that side of boxing here.
In terms of those two, do you fancy a fight with Deontay Wilder at some point?
Yeah, I think that one's a more sensible fight, obviously, where he's closer to me in weight. Obviously, he's a big, dangerous guy. We've seen what he's done over his career, but yeah, at this stage, I'm, you know, 2-weight world champion. Why not?
Lawrence, obviously, there's some big, massive fights out there for you. You're here for the 5v5, that big fight feel.
Yeah.
Will there be discussions between you and Ben Shalom about potentially you coming on one of these shows, or what's your promotional situation?
No, definitely there'll be some conversations being had all over, you know. But, you know, obviously with the win and being 2-weight world champion and stuff like that, we've got options.
Eddie Hearn's here.
Yes.
Will you have any conversation with Eddie? Is there any, you know, time maybe this week that you two can speak and put things to bed?
It'd be good for us to just sit down, not even promotionally. Just because I see him, and you know what? If I'm honest, I still rate him. Do you know what I mean? And obviously what he's done, obviously before and after, we worked together. So even if it's just a joke, because obviously some stuff was said on my part anyway that I wasn't happy with, and you know, but that one there is not anything promotionally, but just, you know what I mean, I like him.
Last one from me. Fury Usyk last week. We've seen that the rematch is going to happen in September. Yeah. If there's a possibility that you could get yourself on that undercard and look at that fight, would you be interested in that for December?
Yeah, definitely. I would like to box before December, but if I can get out end of summer, then I could do 2 fights. But yeah, definitely. Obviously, being on huge shows like that is always going to be amazing for your profile, amazing just for legacy, and you know, in the next, we know in the next 40 years, 50 years, 100 years, they're still going to talk about that fight the way that they talked about Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson. So being in and around it all, it's amazing. And also, it helps me in terms of, you know, when I'm going into my fights, knowing that there's been some mega fights before and there's been some huge fights. So, you know, there's no point in feeling pressure and that, because there's bigger fights to be had.
Do you look at Alexander Usyk and believe that you can, you know, put a dent in his armour as such? Yeah,
definitely. There's not anyone that I look at and say I couldn't. Obviously, it's going in there and improving it, you know what I mean? And I'm not naive. I know that a lot of the fights, you know, you said Wilder, you said Usyk, any of these guys is going to be a dangerous, hard fight. But at the same time, I believe that I'd also pose some problems for all of them, and why not?
Lawrence Okolie, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for your time.
Wall Street Memes Casino,
I'm fine.
and Sportsbook.